I sprinted up the steps at Venezia Santa Lucia station with minutes to spare before our train left without us, battling to keep up with Si, who was already several metres ahead and currently flinging himself through the glass doors of the station entrance. "Come on, Hannah!" he yelled, disappearing out of sight. I groaned under my breath, zigzagging through a group of about 150 tourists who had decided that this was the perfect place to start fumbling about with maps. "Sorry," I said, pushing past them, my breath ragged, my heart pounding in my chest. Missing the train was not an option. It would absolutely not be worth the fallout if we did. I accelerated up the last few steps with beads of sweat trickling down my back, soaking through my flimsy cotton camisole and pooling at the waistband of my jeans, which I now bitterly regretted wearing, given the 30-degree heat. I'd thought I was being clever. It would be freezing on a train in the middle of the night, surely, and so I dressed accordingly, which wasn't ideal now, with the July sun beating down on my head. I followed Si inside, struggling to keep pace, his blonde hair bobbing in and out of view. My suitcase, clearly not designed for high-speed manoeuvres, kept either tipping over onto its side or slamming painfully into my ankle. It was as though everything lovely about Venice had disappeared the second I ran through the doors of the station. I couldn't hear water taxis honking to each other anymore, or take photos of the reflection of the sun setting over the Grand Canal. Instead, there was incessant chattering and too loud announcements in frenzied Italian and the wails of hot, tired children. It was disappointing that my lasting impression of beautiful Venice might now be tainted by this chaotic, fluorescent-lit concrete block of a station. "You're slowing down!" shouted Si over his shoulder. He waited for me to catch up and then grabbed my hand, pulling me after him. I must have looked ridiculous, my cardigan flying out behind me like a superhero's cape, while my boyfriend propelled me unceremoniously across the concourse. My feet had never moved so fast as we weaved through the crowds, swerving the scarily long queues for the ticket machines because I had had the good sense to print ours out before we'd left London. "Right. Which platform?" he said breathlessly, dropping his bag and stopping so suddenly that I tripped over the back of his shoe and almost went flying past him. Really? Part of me felt like calling the whole thing off and admitting defeat. We could spend another night in Venice, have a lazy dinner, a late-night stroll through the romantic back streets of Cannaregio, the one area we hadn't properly had time to explore. If Si's sister Catherine hadn't been getting married in Amsterdam the following afternoon, that was. She'd never forgive us if we turned up late, or worse, not at all. I wedged my hands on my hips, panting, watching Si's face as he concentrated on scanning the departures board, mumbling under his breath, "Roma Termini, Milano Centrale, Verona Porta Nuova." I was surprised by his excellent pronunciation of Italian place names, a talent I'd had no idea he possessed. "Amsterdam, platform 5, he said, flashing me a look and taking my hand. "Come on, Hannah, I think we can make it." We started to run, racing past a place called Relax and Cafe, the name of which must surely have been ironic. Following Si's lead, I swung through the crowds, swerving to avoid the dangerously stealthy wheels of the mini suitcases that kept creeping up on us at every turn. "We're almost there!" he yelled, pointing at something up ahead.